Bugs, bugs, bugs. That's what a lot of reviews have said concerning the Pixel 6a. I've had it for a while and I haven't used it for well over 2 months. Is the Pixel 6a actually a buggy device? And with the launch of the Pixel 7 series, is it the best time to buy? The Google Pixel 6a is a device just as powerful as the Pixel 6 Pro thanks to it running on the same Tensor chipset, but it is priced significantly less at just under $350 right now, with the trade-offs being lesser build quality, cameras, display specs, and a couple more, but lesser doesn't exactly mean inferior. This is easily one of the best mid-range devices money can buy, and I kid you not. One might even argue this is a very good alternative to the Pixel 7 series thanks to its affordability, especially when you look at its specs and features. You can even pick it up for $300 right now on Amazon. I'll have links in the description. But first, let's address the question of bugs. While I've enjoyed my experience so far with the Pixel 6a, I can't say it is completely bug-free. I've only experienced 2 bugs, or I think 3. One recurrent and the other fixed with the Android 13 update. The recurrent bug is with the recent menu. Sometimes it doesn't respond. I get the haptic feedback, but then it acts weird. When it goes to the recent menu, I'm unable to swipe apps close. None of the regular buttons show. I can basically only swipe left or right, but not up or down. I have to swipe home before it acts right. This would have been ignorable if it didn't happen frequently. I use this as a secondary device and I experience this bug at least twice daily. Thankfully, it doesn't require a restart to fix. Now, I know some might ask if I tried a factory reset, but I'd rather not have to do that. The second bug which got fixed with the Android 13 update was still with the recent menu, where the apps became blank and pretty much behaves like the other bug, but thankfully this one was fixed with the Android 13. That's all there is on bugs in my experience. I've had no issues with the fingerprint scanner. Compared to most devices I've handled at this price point, I can easily choose the Pixel 6a mostly for its software. Android 12 has pretty much revamped the stock Android experience, and on the Pixel side of things is where you can enjoy it to the fullest. The Tensor chipset here is a very solid one, especially for its price points. When compared to the likes of Samsung's Galaxy A53, the Pixel 6a is a more stable and reliable device with a more satisfying software experience. As for its refresh rate being basic 60Hz as compared to the majority of the competition having twice the refresh rate, it is easy to complain and demand better as the device is actually capable thanks to the Tensor chipset. But while for me as a tech enthusiast, I definitely would see the fluidity of a 90Hz display, the 60Hz experience here is not one I felt was lacking in any way, as operating the Pixel 6a has been smooth and snappy for the most part. To put it straightforward, the lack of a high refresh rate display is not a deal breaker for me, and I feel most average consumers won't notice it. I mean, the $800 iPhones don't have high refresh rate displays. Now, when it comes to build quality and design, I like that the Pixel 6a is a lot similar to the Pixel 6. I got a D-brand skin on mine as I'm not a fan of that glossy finish, and I actually like how this D-brand skin gives it that Pixel 7 look on the rear camera shape. Now, one thing I had to get used to with the Pixel 6a, which is not actually an issue, is the placement of the power button above the volume keys. This is actually my first Pixel device, and most other devices I've used have the power button below the volume keys, so I sometimes find myself hitting the power key when attempting to adjust the volume. Not an issue for most people, I guess. Now, the Pixel 6a doesn't get a headphone jack, and like a lot of other devices these days, you don't get a charger in the box too. It supports a single nano SIM card and it also supports eSIM. Sadly, there is no SD card slot, and that can be a real deal breaker as it only comes with 128 gig storage. So if you're a heavy user that needs more than that in storage, you might want to rely on cloud storage or look the other way, because there's no 256 gig option. I don't think there is. Now, the speakers on here are actually amazing. They sound really good, probably the best on any mid-range device I've handled. Now, the haptic feedback on the Pixel 6a is also really good. I've heard people talk about it, but not until I got to actually experience it did I realize how good it is. Typing on this device feels really nice. Now, the Pixel 6a is a 5G supported device, though here in Nigeria, like the Samsung and iPhones, it didn't detect the MTN 5G signal. Hopefully, it should do so in the not too distant future. I like the size of the Pixel 6a being just 6.1 inches, makes it easier for one-handed operation. One of the perks of using a Pixel device is the early software updates and that stock Android experience. The software is lightweight and you can see the material you're theming across the UI, which makes it beautiful to just operate. Aside the recurring bug I mentioned, I've enjoyed the overall software experience here. There's actually a weird one I didn't mention earlier. I doubt anyone else will experience this though. Now when I export my videos and send it to the Pixel 6a for upload, there's this red tint, not sure what is responsible, and also don't know if it has anything to do with my export settings, but I only have this experience with the Pixel 6a and I find it strange. I have a couple other devices and I don't have this problem. The Tensor chipset here has really good benchmark scores, and having it on a mid-range device pretty much puts this as one of the best out there. It performs really good, except that the gaming experience is a little underwhelming for a chipset of this caliber. And if you are someone into gaming, the Pixel 6a might not meet your expectations, at least in my experience. While it will play most games at medium to high graphics settings, the performance is not consistent and you get noticeable frame drops, especially on the likes of Apex Legends, unless you stick to the recommended low settings of course. Not quite what I was expecting for a device running a flagship processor. I don't know if there will be better optimization with future updates though, but we'll have to keep our fingers crossed for that one. The battery life on the Pixel 6a is pretty standard, nothing out of the ordinary, but I'll say good enough for a 4410 mAh battery. This only supports 18 watts fast charging, which is significantly less than most of the competition, but that's not a deal breaker. You don't talk about a Pixel device and ignore its cameras. It's one of the many benefits of having a Pixel, and having used it thus far, I can attest to that. Camera specs might look substandard on paper, but Google's image processing is where the real magic happens. The pictures from the Pixel 6a are nothing below expectations when it comes to skin tones and HDR processing. It is reliable and will get you the perfect shots 9 out of 10 times. Even in less than ideal lighting conditions, you will get great photos. Portraits also look sharp, though edge detection is not perfect. On video performance, I'll say I'm satisfied with its quality. It can actually shoot 4K 60fps video from its rear cameras. I don't think there's any mid-range devices that does more than 4K 30fps. On low light video, it's actually not so great. On the selfie camera, however, we don't get past 1080p 30fps.
The Pixel 6a can shoot videos from the selfie camera, looks really good, and HDR is looking nice from the viewfinder. I think it's 1080p 30fps because I could not find the setting to adjust it to 4K, which you can do 4K 60 from the rear camera. So yeah, and then I'm close to the roadside. You tell me how it does with noise cancellation.
I love the Pixel 6a for its overall performance, though it would be great to see Google completely fix the bugs. While they are minor and don't drastically impact my user experience, I like to be able to boast that the experience is completely bug-free. I'm currently expecting the Pixel 7, which I'll definitely review and will most likely replace this one, but I'll still keep my eyes on this one to see if any updates solve the bugs I've experienced, and I'll update on my Twitter account, so you should be following me on there. Now, if there's anything I didn't cover in this video, feel free to leave questions in the comments and I'll be happy to chat. Peace.